22-year-old Jake never imagined he'd be making life-altering decisions alone in a neonatal intensive care unit. But that's exactly where he found himself after his world turned upside down in a matter of days. The pregnancy wasn't planned. Birth control had failed for both Jake and his girlfriend Emma, also 22. When she discovered she was expecting, Emma was adamant. She wanted to keep the baby despite knowing Jake had made his position crystal clear from the beginning. He would provide financial support, but he had no desire to be a father. They'd discussed abortion and adoption extensively, with Jake being careful never to pressure her toward either option. The choice was ultimately hers to make. But now, a week after their daughter was born and fighting for life in the NICU, Emma had vanished without a trace. No phone calls returned, no text messages acknowledged. Complete radio silence on all social media platforms. Even her own parents couldn't reach her. The depth of her abandonment became painfully clear when a nurse wordlessly handed Jake a car seat, retrieved from Emma's abandoned vehicle in the hospital parking lot. For 4 agonizing days, Jake had been the sole constant presence in that sterile NICU room, watching machines breathe for a tiny human he'd never wanted but couldn't abandon. The beeping monitors and hushed conversations of medical staff had become his soundtrack while his family launched a relentless campaign of harassment. His sister Monica, 37, had swooped in with what she presented as the perfect solution. She and her husband would adopt the baby, keeping it in the family where it belonged. But Jake's stomach churned every time he imagined his innocent daughter in that house. Monica's husband, 47-year-old Richard, had always triggered every alarm bell in Jake's intuition. The memories were seared into Jake's mind. Being just 15 when Richard entered their family, the way this grown man's eyes would linger on him with an intensity that made his skin crawl. Richard's persistent attempts to get Jake alone. The way he'd manufacture reasons for private conversations that Jake would desperately avoid by staying glued to his mother's side during family gatherings. For years, Jake had refused to set foot in their house during holidays, causing ongoing family tension that his parents blamed on his stubbornness. When Jake had finally mustered the courage to tell his mother about Richard's unsettling behavior, she'd brushed off his concerns with the casual dismissal that still stung years later. No investigation, no serious conversation, just a wave of the hand that communicated clearly. Jake's comfort and safety were less important than family harmony. Now, with his daughter's future hanging in the balance, Jake knew he wouldn't, place her in potential danger just to appease his family's expectations. Through hospital staff, he'd connected with Sarah and Michelle, a loving couple who'd been eagerly awaiting their own adoption opportunity when another arrangement fell through. They'd been spending time in the NICU, bonding with the baby and getting to know Jake, demonstrating the kind of genuine care and excitement he wanted for his daughter. But his family's reaction was swift and venomous. They despised the couple Jake had chosen, not because of their character or capabilities, but because Sarah and Michelle wanted a closed adoption that would mean limited family contact. Worse, in his parents' narrow worldview, the fact that the prospective parents were 2 women made them fundamentally unsuitable, regardless of their qualifications or love to offer. The harassment had been unrelenting. Phone calls demanding he reconsider, guilt trips about keeping the baby in the family, accusations that he was making decisions based on unfounded suspicions about Richard. His parents painted him as paranoid and ungrateful, while Monica positioned herself as the generous sister willing to sacrifice by taking on an unwanted child. But Jake had been vocal with hospital staff from the beginning. He knew he wouldn't be a good father, and he needed help exploring his options. The paternity test had confirmed what they all knew. This was his biological daughter. But biology didn't create the parental instincts that seemed to come naturally to others. As adoption paperwork moved forward over the coming weeks, with provisions in case Emma miraculously reappeared to claim her child, Jake found himself caught between family loyalty and protective instincts he didn't know he possessed. Hospital liaisons had revealed that Emma had inquired about safe haven laws before disappearing, suggesting she'd been planning her exit strategy even before giving birth. In the quiet moments between feeding schedules and medical updates, Jake would watch his daughter's tiny chest rise and fall with mechanical assistance and wonder if he was making the right choice. Was he protecting her from potential harm, or was he letting childhood fears dictate an adult decision that would affect multiple families forever? The weight of choosing his daughter's entire future while she lay vulnerable in an incubator felt crushing. But every time he imagined those tiny hands in Richard's care, Every instinct screamed that some risks were simply too great to take, regardless of family pressure or social expectations. What do you think? Is Jake right to trust his instincts about his brother-in-law, even without proof? Or should family loyalty take precedence in finding a home for his daughter? Share your thoughts on this impossible situation below.